Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So yeah, the title of this video is 100% real, it's not clickbait. Taxpayers in this country have forked out over 600 million rand to keep this failing citrus farm afloat since 2003. Now what is important to note is before 2003, before the government got their grubby little greasy fingers on the citrus farm, it was the single biggest producer of citrus in the Southern Hemisphere. It was successful when it was in private hands. And then in 2003, through a land restitution claim and broad-based black economic empowerment deals, the government managed to let it go into what it is right now, and it has cost taxpayers over 600 million rand. Now, before I tell you more about this government success story, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything, as well as smashing the like button and sharing this video far and wide. All right, let's have a look. Thanks to Newsday for this article. Historic citrus farm collapsed after it was given to black beneficiaries in a land restitution program. Surprise, surprise. The Zebediela citrus estate in Limpopo, which was the largest single citrus producer in the Southern Hemisphere, collapsed after being handed over to new owners in 2003. The historic citrus farm rose to prominence again after the Limpopo provincial government unveiled plans to resurrect the estate earlier this year. As if 600 million rand wasn't enough, they want to go in for a second dipping right now. To understand the debacle, it is important to look at the estate's history and what happened after the property changed ownership. Zebediela Citrus Estate in the Lepelle and Nkumpi local municipality was founded in 1917 and grew to 13,000 hectares at its peak. It was the largest citrus estate in the Southern Hemisphere, producing 3 million cartons of citrus annually for export markets. Think about that. The estate supplied premium fruit to Europe and positioned itself as a global benchmark in citrus production. It was a major regional economic engine south of Polokwane, employing hundreds of permanent staff and thousands of seasonal workers. It also funded local schooling and put generations of community members through professional studies. In 2003, as part of South Africa's post-94 land restitution program, ownership of the estate was transferred to the Njatladi Communal Property Association. The Njatladi Communal Property Association represented 400 local households and thousands of beneficiaries. Over the next 2 decades, the estate spiraled into operational collapse due to several compounding factors. The problems included a breakdown in internal governance, factionalism, financial mismanagement, and corruption. Surprise, surprise. The Zebediela citrus estate debt ballooned to between 170 and 180 million rand. Jeez. Forcing the operating entities into voluntary liquidation. Nice. To add to the misery, a fire in 2023 destroyed a primary packhouse which was left unguarded and unfenced. Surprise, surprise. The farm suffered severe vandalism, including the stripping of irrigation gear, cutting of trees for firewood, and open cattle grazing. I'm not going to focus on what Whitey Basson has to say, but I want to focus on the last part, which is the Limpopo provincial government plans to resurrect the Zebediela citrus farm because they can make money out of it, you know. Greasy palms, ladies and gentlemen. In March 2026, the Limpopo provincial government said it planned to resurrect the Zebediela citrus farm. Limpopo Premier Poppy Ramathuba said the resurrection of Zebediela citrus farm estate is an economic priority to develop the province. Okay. The estate's revival is a community-driven initiative with a master plan currently under consideration. Blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Everything the government touches turns into shit. I don't think you even have to dispute that. But now, many of you are saying, okay, but Renaldo, 600 million rand. How is that possible? Well, let's have a look at this. So here's the breakdown of the total 597 million rand, right? The 2003 land purchase, which, they were forced to sell, and the government, through taxpayers' money, paid 61.4 million rand. And there's your source right there if you don't believe me. And then post-handover state bailouts of 500 million rand. And there's your source right there. And then emergency interventions and audits that the government funded was 6.1 million rand. And now in the next budget, the 26-27 budget, the government is going to give them 30 million rand. And that's your source right there. So you as a taxpayer have contributed towards this 600 million rand bailout of one successful citrus farm, arguably the biggest producer of citrus in the Southern Hemisphere. And a mere 23 years later, after being handed over to the community and through a land restitution claim, this has cost taxpayers 600 million rand. And it's not even close to being done. If you think that this is going to be a turnaround strategy and now suddenly this farmer is going to start producing again, you're in for a big surprise. This is nothing more than a tender opportunity for cadres to come in again and dig a little bit deeper and pocket some more money. I mean, at what point are they just going to say, shut this shit down? This has cost taxpayers too much money. But you know, this is obviously what always happens in this country, is something works efficiently, effectively, and then somebody comes in with this super terrible idea that over 100 years ago, my family owned this land and I want this land and I will make it work. But yet, what we have seen time and time again is when it comes to land restitution or farmland being bought and then handed over, it fails. Like 90% of projects in this country that goes from a farmer that ran it effectively, and no, it doesn't necessarily have to be a white farmer. It can be any farmer. And when it's handed over, then it fails. And, you know, just as a taxpayer, to put this into perspective for you, most taxpayers in this country fall in the 25% bracket, right? So think about that for a second. If you take the 12 months out of the year, 25% of that is 3 months. So from the 1st of January until the 31st of March, you as a taxpayer work for the government. You don't get any money to put into your own pocket because that's 25% tax. So you only start working for yourself and the money that you can put towards yourself and your family or your friends from the 1st of April. April Fool's Day. Ironic, because that's what the government takes you for, a fool. But ultimately, just another fantastic success story in which that taxpayer has to fund the government for messing something up. And I've got a nicer word for that, but I don't want to use it over here. So if this is just one project that has cost taxpayers 600 million rand, how many other projects like this do you think exist that we don't even know about because the media has not reported on it? Cry the beloved country. And the fact that a one successful citrus farm, the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere, has now cost taxpayers 600 million rand and no end in sight of how much more it's going to cost us. Brilliant. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button. Share this video far and wide. Don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. However, if you'd like to contribute financially, you can do so by clicking the $ below and choosing an amount. Or you can become a member of this channel by clicking the join button below. And that's all I got to say. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.